Public health. Soifua maluluhina. Wau tula ia tu le tele man whaalua. Mori whaftai sunga tuina. Mai se fōi le sunga whawhiangai. Le matangofio sa vali. Matalsanga molia il tātou tamare le langi. E wai ui loto soifua malo ola. A o mai lawal wala au. O na halu ale o tangata i. O le paia mai saua e o ianga lenga. Tulonga lava le paia le ia whalenga fulu manu tele. Tangane fo i le tapua inga. Malo Samoa. Pa ia o tātou malo le tawhitonu. E mori atu le whaftai. Ai nei se le a whio mai fo'i, a whio mai senatoa. A vea masui o le senate. Ai nei se fo'i whaipule. A vea masui o le tātou maota. A tonu ilo i nei se vaenga o le tātou whamsinonga. Ai o te whaftai atu fo'i le pa ia mo le mamalu. O whaatonu mo tō lango. O tātou nofo inga o lo whaatasi nei aso. Ai maise le mamalu o la walauria. O Samoa o le atunu e iwi. O leo le atu e o i ese tala ni kovana. O umana pai loa e tātou tatai nei aso. First of all, I would like to apologize for today, this morning. Because it is a little warm. The First Lady and I had an opportunity to tour the facilities of public health in the compound. And many of you are honored guests have waited here in this tent. Therefore, I apologize for taking that time for the tour. But I do not apologize for how wonderful, beautiful, and great these facilities are for the public health. I would also like to acknowledge the work, as have been mentioned already, of former Director Motsa of the Public Health, and also the ARPA projects that began in 2021 that provided American Samoa almost $500 million. So today, in 2025, we are having groundbreaking for 3 projects for the public health. I'm very proud and very grateful for the work that our folks over at ARPA, as well as our procurement office, in moving many of these new projects that we have begun today to groundbreaking. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I'm appreciative for the United States, the federal government, for providing these funds, ARPA, in the last 4 to 5 years. We all know the deadline for these funding is next year, December. But we hope and pray many of these projects will be done way before December of next year. I'm going to direct my remarks on the 3 projects that we have groundbreaking today. The first project, which costing over $20 million for the Behavioral Health Services Drug and Alcohol Rehabilitation Clinic. I am very grateful that we are building this building because we do need it. We do, well, let me first say, we do have a drug issue in our territory that everybody knows. And I think this will be helpful toward this. On behavioral health services, I just spoke to some of the doctors asking the diagnosis and the different behavioral illnesses that we have in our territory. In the short time, without a lot of data, they mentioned that number one is schizophrenic, and then number two is bipolar. And some of these issues that are now going across our territory. And of course, these affect our children, many of us, and also the public health. I am grateful because I have a plan. The government has a plan on how to deal with drugs in the coming future. Many of you may have heard I've already asked Faivai at the Secretary of Samoan Affairs that his mandate for the next 3.5 years is to strengthen the councils and the villages in the cultural essence. The reason why is the next step. We are going to rededicate the task force for drugs, anti-drug task force. We're probably going to work on it next week. There is money in the opiate grant that we want to utilize for that particular purpose. Thirdly, we're going to ask church leaders, all the church leaders, including all the churches in every village, to join the task force as well as the Office of Samoan Affairs as a community approach to tackle the drug issue in this territory. And we're going to do this with the goal of 2027, summer, that the government and the people of American Samoa will have control of drugs. Airport, the ports, including the post office, and all the public safety entities that deals with drug will receive funding for training that we will be asking the federal government to help us with. And that's why this particular building, the Behavioral Health Services Drug and Alcohol Rehabilitation, is part of the community approach to tackle the drug problem here in American Samoa. The second dedication or groundbreaking we did today was the $2.49 million for the veterinarian clinic expansion. In a very humble way, I do say, Omeola, animals, is a gift from God to all of us. I have learned a lot more from animals than I have from people. I'm going to tell you a little story. When I first married my wife, First Lady, all our kids were now older and moving out of the house. So I felt that she probably needed to have a pet. So we're gonna go get a dog, just to ease the pain of all the children leaving the house. In Samoa, as you all know, dogs are outside animals. Dogs don't sleep in the house. So we went to the vet. I was reading a book, waiting for my wife, taking our dog up. All of a sudden, I was reading one of those Jason Bourne novels. All of a sudden, I heard on the PA system, Nana Pula. Nana Pula. I got so mad. I went up to my wife and said to her, "How dare you name the dog after my family name?" My wife said, "Well, how else are we the doctors or the vet gonna know whose dog is it?" I said, "Use your last name." Kako Samoa. Ire whakainga ngingo kako ainga whaingoai mea. Wow, kai whau. Long story short, we have so many arguments because of this dog. And I would like to admit, I'm not a proud man, that I slept on the sofa more than the dog. But one thing I have learned about these animals have taught me about unconditional love. That whole life of that dog depends on you and how you take care of it. You feed it, you love it. If you don't, if you just go you know, but that dog will always be loyal and love you no matter what. To me, that is what this animal has taught me. The unconditional love. You know, there were times when I traveled on my trips, when I worked for the Department of Interior, my wife stayed home. I come home, and the first thing the dog does is run around the house. He's so excited. I came home, jump over the sofa, jump over the table, come and jump on me. You know, that's loyalty. That's unconditional love. My wife looked at me and I said, "Honey, I'm waiting for you to run around the house." Of course, she slapped me. Ole, talapupu le fiatawinat. That this clinic for our animal is worthy of all of us. Yeah, oto ito, that fauma, pets, ole alava, tausi fadle, pangale, leo onga le unconditional love. Yeah, if I mudi. Is this Tafuna health expansion, which is costing $13.4 million. I toured some of the place today, and I have to say, public health, I'm very proud. Famalo, Faftai. I will say this, public health and LPJ needs to work together, not stovepipes, connected, resources limited. But I am more aggressive with public health. The reason why is public health need to go out to the community, prevent people from getting sick before they go to LPJ. Ole mande nga lo fianga tatai mo fatun. I mentioned about man with public health. You hear me now? I am more aggressive. I'm going to ask fatunu makosui fatun. Every week, I'm going to say, what in the world are you guys doing? Are you guys out there? Because LPG has its own problems. All the hours of people waiting, public health has helped move that issue away. where they don't need to. We have clinics, and we have you, doctors and nurses, and the work of the public health to get out, prevent. E lua mea tau e whainga malo. Besides the economy, or the health, or the education, or tātou tangata. Now, we've been blessed to have all this money while the time is short. Let's be aggressive. Let's do it right. O lau tantunua, a watu nei au whafo a soa o sta vale umalo ola. O le me pito i silin tau e te, that people know, tangata whainga luenga malo, including public health. It's not how well longa luenga whai e malo whamaone. O le vā o oe ma le kua. It's your personal relationship between you and God. Because when you have that relationship, you are going to be honest and you are going to be working hard for the people of American Samoa. E manuia ne aso mo fufuanga whaftaitele le mamanu public health, I'm going to look forward, similar to all the other departments of the government. Whamaongi, momole kua, every morning, every night. That's the strength that we need to move American Samoa forward in this time, the world in trouble with all kinds of things happening. E manuia ma Yesui fua.